Swinburne Podcasts.
The academic procession is about to enter the hall. Would you please stand? Please remain standing for the national anthem. Please be seated. It is my pleasure to introduce to you the presiding officer for today's ceremony, Dr. Stephen van der Meij, Councillor of Swinburne University of Technology.
Members of the University Council, members of staff, distinguished guests, graduands, ladies and gentlemen. It is with pleasure that I welcome you to this graduation and award conferral ceremony, which acknowledges the achievements of so many of you and which represents a significant step in the process of lifelong learning. As a mark of respect to Australia's Indigenous people, Swinburne University of Technology acknowledges the Wurundjeri people as the traditional custodians of the land where we now meet to conduct this ceremony. On the occasion of this ceremony, the Council and staff wish to share their pride and congratulations with the graduands on their achievements. For all of us, this ceremony is a very special occasion. For the graduands, it means the culmination of years of study, hard work and achievement. For the parents, families and friends of the graduands, it means that all the sacrifices you have made and all the support that you have provided have finally been rewarded. I'm sure you feel a great sense of pride and happiness in seeing your friend or family member succeed. We are very pleased that so many of you have been able to attend and make this such a special occasion. For the teaching and administrative staff of the university, there is enormous satisfaction in seeing our students successfully complete their studies. This is an important occasion for the university. Swinburne prides itself in the quality of the teaching and learning that it provides. This wonderful celebration gives public recognition of Swinburne's ongoing commitment to provide our students with a range of educational qualifications. These qualifications will assist them in making an ongoing contribution to their chosen profession and to their particular community. Swinburne is committed to being a nationally and internationally recognised institution where our programs are relevant to the world community as well as to Australia. We are committed to this goal because increasingly our graduates are required to work outside Australia and establish successful international careers. I would now like to invite Professor Ken Hesketh, Dean of the Faculty of Business and Enterprise, to introduce today's guest speaker.
It is with pleasure that I introduce Mr. Shane Hills to deliver today's occasional address. Shane is the founder and managing director of Cocoa Black and also the co-owner of Sugar, well known in Melbourne for its amazing rock candy. Shane grew up in Wynyard in remote northwest Tasmania and, like most young locals, could not see a path to further education and a professional career. Later, whilst working in banking and finance, Shane studied business by correspondence, which led to a thirst for reading and learning all things business. He had finally found his passion in life. From that time, it wasn't long before Shane was involved in his first business, Sugar, a business that he didn't invent, but one that he was drawn to because of its distinct style and fun nature. Cocoa Black is a chocolate salon, which was created by Shane in 2003, based on his experience with sugar. Cocoa Black now operates from 9 locations and employs 200 staff. Shane is married to Mirka, and they have 2 girls, Sienna, 3, and Aurelia, almost 1. He enjoys business, reading, learning, running, spending time with good friends, following politics and social debate and travelling. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure that I invite Mr. Shane Hills to deliver today's occasional address.
Thank you, and hello everyone. Congratulations to all the graduates. And to the parents too. It's been more than a few years for you to get to this stage. Your hard work has also paid off. A special mention also to the students studying part-time whilst working full-time, and I'm sure some who have children as well. It's a big commitment and you've done it. For most people, the time would have simply passed. It's an honour to be asked to participate in this ceremony, and thank you very much for the invitation. I didn't feel all that comfortable accepting the invitation on the basis of my experience, which is quite short, but thinking through it some more, I was happy to share part of my story over the last few years and what turned into a loving endorsement of this fantastic field, business. Studying and reading, really for the first time in my life in my early 20s, was the path to discovering business as the thing that I wanted to focus my drive towards. Growing up in my environment in northwest Tasmania, like a lot of different areas and for different reasons, the path to further education and a professional career is hard to see. I left home at 16 with my older brother to play cricket. He was a very good cricketer and knew early that that was what he wanted to do. I was just okay. He started his professional career and I was just following along, enjoying life, my full-time work and sport away from home. It was a great feeling of adventure. The thing I most admired about my brother was how much he loved what he was doing. His work rate was a big part of his success, but of course it was not work to him. It really was him. I also noticed some other things which I've since heard Nick Cave capture very well. I'm not a fan as such, but I think he's very good. There are many things in my life that make me hugely happy, but as far as my professional life goes, it's a place I'm the most frightened, the most happy, the most all sorts of things, terrified, frustrated, ecstatic. And I wanted that in my life, and I knew I didn't have it yet. I started studying business part-time by correspondence, which led to an explosion of reading on all things business, which happily hasn't stopped. I had found it, and it changed the way I looked at most things. I discovered the adventure of business, how stimulating, complex, creative, competitive, and challenging it is. At first I thought I needed to invent something to get started in business, creating a product that didn't exist. This led me to some reading on Thomas Edison, amongst other things. Interestingly, in his day, he was once described as the world's best scientist, yet the world's worst businessman. Amazing operations. He invented the concept of R&D, some say his biggest invention, but he struggled with commercialising many of his brilliant projects and retaining control. He just wasn't interested or focused in the science of business. I'm sure he didn't care too much at all. It just wasn't his passion. He didn't follow the crowd. There were hundreds of scientists and chemists with the same tools that he had. The first commercial light filament was made of bamboo, something completely different. I think most of you would be familiar with sugar. It's only a small business. As was mentioned before, we specialise in rock candy, and I was one of their best customers. I've always been a sweet tooth for confectionery and chocolate, and it fit my new criteria for what I wanted the business to be that I wanted to get involved in. I put together a plan to the owner of Sugar, some ideas for improving the business, no agenda other than my interest, and as it turned out, 10 days later he was opening another store in Chadstone, and that was my opportunity to seize. I thought I can't lose with this, a quality product, an experience that elevated the product to another place in the customer's mind. It was part of the fabric of Melbourne, and I was certain this wouldn't change for a very long time. My future wife and I became lolly makers. We got started with Sugar at Chadstone, and luckily the previous owner wanted to get out of the business soon after, and the opportunity came up to acquire the entire business. My father-in-law came on board as a business partner, and we have been operating Sugar ever since. We got started with Sugar at Chadstone, and luckily, sorry, I lost my place there. Early in the Sugar experience, I realised that what I really wanted to do was create something myself, to apply my own vision to a product. Ledgeret in Paris, which I'm sure some in the audience have visited, it's an amazing, inspiring food business. They have a beautiful book on their business with many quotes from their famous customers. One is, "It tells me I have left the everyday, and it represents universal values, hard work, attention to detail, authenticity." This is the sort of business I wanted to be part of, and I started thinking a lot about chocolate. Could you possibly fit another product into that market? At that stage, the market was stagnant, a little different than what it is 5 or 6 years later today. But at the same time, there really was no shortage of places to find chocolate. I was most inspired by Sugar, setting out to create an experience and capture the essence of the product. For Sugar, it was fun, but for chocolate, it was something completely different. As a food, chocolate has an essence and personality unmatched. No other food could play a part in a movie like Chocolat or Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I assessed the local market, and there was a lot of sameness. Boxes on shelves, transactions at the counter, dominated by the industry, compromises on shelf life. So I started 18 months of research and planning. This took me to ZDS, a chocolate college in Germany. Only a week-long course, but it was enough to get a base knowledge about chocolate and to make some important decisions. Chocolate itself, the practical craft, was my biggest gap and perhaps my biggest risk by a long way, as I was planning to create a very special product in a specialised field. I learned from the course that what I needed was a world-class chocolatier, and Bruges, Belgium was a good place to start looking. Bruges is an amazing city for chocolate. Again, I'm sure there's some in the audience who have travelled there. It's a beautiful city. It's described as the Venice of the North. But to give you some idea, in, say, pick a city in Australia like Canberra, the population about 350,000, I would guess there's 5 or 6 chocolate outlets there. In Bruges, population 20,000, there are 200 chocolate outlets. So it really is an amazing, special city for chocolate. I visited a business there called the Chocolate Line, and it was lucky because the owner there is quite a renowned guy in the industry there. To stand out in the market there, he's doing a lot of very different things that would seem way too quirky here, but with so much competition, olives and mushroom and all sorts of different interesting spices, tobacco in the chocolate. I told him what I wanted to do in Melbourne, and he soon introduced me to a young guy named Dries Knockaert. And Dries had been working with Dominic on and off over a number of years, and Dries was looking for adventure on the other side of the world, so it really was a perfect fit. Back in Melbourne, I was busy working on my plan. Of course, some people were telling me not to do it. For those of you who have listened or read of Tom O'Toole from the Beechworth Bakery, he calls them the dream takers. This is one of the best lessons I have learnt early in my business life. It will happen every time you make a decision that resembles a risk or does not follow the crowd. The remedy has been best said this way. Remember that just because others are agreeing or disagreeing doesn't make it right or wrong. The only thing that matters is the correctness of your analysis, rationale, objectivity and judgment. I've found independent thinking and decision making to be crucial, and equally so in my personal and family life. Establishing a unique and personal set of goals tough to achieve, and an inner scorecard rather than caring about what other people think is something that I find keeps me very focused and excited about the future and safe from following everyone else, which likely won't leave you anywhere. We opened Cocoa Black in December 2003, and the time since has been as Nick Cave described it so well. We have grown to 200 staff, and as a young and motivated company, I see many exciting things in our future. We haven't had many major problems. The hard grind has been pretty consistent. Really hard work all the way, as you would expect. In Frank Lowy's biography by James Kirby, he describes having to pull over the side of the road because he couldn't see. He was under so much stress. He had to wait 15 minutes before he could continue. It's so comforting to hear that story of someone we see as so accomplished and successful. I wouldn't ever want to get to that point, but I really do like his quote. Never give up. People don't realise how persistent you have to be. Unless you are strong and convinced you can succeed, you will get swept away. It's very inspiring, but comforting too. Many of you will be entering the business world for the first time. Gaining knowledge and getting to this point has been a good accomplishment, but attitude, your character, and how you are going to apply yourself will now be life's next big challenge. How you are personally going to apply yourself to be different. That was a question. How are you personally going to apply yourself to be different and successful in your chosen field? It's going to be all about what you can do. My personal goal in business is centred around longevity and creating something special and unique. Most people I admire not only continue doing what they love, but they never really retire. Why would you really need to? Longevity to me is central to why I love business. I've been working at it close to 9 years, yet my career and learning is at the very beginning. So many avenues are just not like that. In business, 40s, 50s are generally talked about as a great crossover of experience and energy. 60s, even 70s in your own business at least, are among the most productive of your life. If in the last year at Cocoa Black we have made 100 improvements in our business, it is exciting to think of the compounding power of those improvements and the improvements to come over such a long period of time. A business adventure of 50 years, that would be a dream. Thank you for listening, and I wish you all the best of success with your future. Thank you.
Shane, thank you very much for a really wonderful speech. I must admit I've actually been to your shop in Lygon Street. It probably shows.
Thank you very much.
Let me give you a wonderful token of appreciation from the university, and thanks again.
Thank you very much.
I'd now like to call upon Ms Jan McAdam, the Associate Director of Client Services, to verify that the graduands listed in the program are eligible to receive their awards.
Councillor, I have the honour to inform you that in accordance with Statute 13 of Swinburne University of Technology, the graduates who will be presented at this ceremony or who have applied to have their award conferred in absentia have fulfilled the conditions prescribed and are entitled to the award of bachelor degree, graduate certificate, graduate diploma and master degree as appropriate of Swinburne University of Technology.
Would all graduands please stand for the conferral of their awards? By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Council of Swinburne University of Technology, I admit the duly authorised graduands here present and in absentia to the appropriate awards and to the rights and privileges that those awards carry. Congratulations. Please be seated. I now call upon Professor Ken Heskin, the Dean of the Faculty of Business and Enterprise, to present his graduates.
Councillor, I have the honour to present to you the graduates on whom you have conferred an award. For the Bachelor of Business, Daniel Bachtal. James Philip Biviano. Brenton Raymond Burke. Philip James Bucknell. John Contaro. Chi Victor Wei Hock. Matthew Donald Coleman. Monica Elizabeth Davies. James Wesley Docking. Arnav Dutta. Rosie Elizabeth Elligate. Adrian Paul Franco. Dominic Julian Glass. Rebecca Samantha Gumiani. Kulpa Gunasekara Senarut Gunasekara Wedana Ralalage. Srikanta Dilan Gunawardana. Ivan Timothy Handajo. Xiaoming Huang. Angela Joy Inglese. Laurent Philippe Ip Lan Shu. Kanakwan Jai Ari. Daniel John Kiley. Venetia Maria Koresh. Matthew William Knight. Jim Yin Kong. Kanika Kong. Ashley Charles Leahy. Emma Louise Leahy. Philippa Sigrid Leyland Greaves. Julia Jean Christine Macon. Cassandra Malipard. Dunner Mawardi. James Edwin Mills. Lee William Moulder. Kim Julian Nash. Thomas John Norton. Trucy Truk-Hano. Lydia Chapji Orr. Kwame Nathan Owusu Afriyi. Rumesh Hashun Gardia Punchihewa. Rebecca Kate Schaefer. Victoria June Smith. Helini Yasara Sumarutna. Catherine Laura Thompson. Sarah Ashley Teasy. Megan Jane Witt. Georgina Mary Wark. Jason Wong. Zhan Zhu. Danusha Kumara Silva, Yomarina Simon Hewage. For the Bachelor of Business, Human Resource Management, Hardia Dinashan. Anarina Kapoor. Lauren Amy Kemp. Simone Kirsten Matthews. Shay Mohammed Mozari. Amanda Virginia Mayer. Tyrrell Naidu. Sivanthi Punchihewa. Ornella Marie Nikita Radigonde. Nadine Marie Ray. Raymond Tran. Zhuan Zeng. For the Bachelor of Business Information Systems, Aldi Pratama Saputra. For the Bachelor of Business International Business, Georgia Louise Clark. Joseph Adrian Formato. Laura Greco. Louise McNamara. David Kang Nguyen. Lisa Marie Pejovinik. Sophie Jane Rod. For the Bachelor of Business, International Business and the Bachelor of Arts, Italian, Lee Brandon Ferraro. Talia Anna Giuliani. Jessica Spoto. For the Bachelor of Business, International Business and the Bachelor of Arts, Japanese, Renee Alima. For the Bachelor of Business, Marketing, Akin Askin Salik. Madeline Wyatt Chiffey. Claire Victoria Dix. Georgia Ann Foley. Rachel Claire Gracie. Dalveer Singh Jandu. Lara Gillian Jenkins. Effie Keikos. Winnie Lee Sha Kong. Bill Luludakis. Stephanie Nicole Lukatic. Chun Meng. Stephanie Jane Morrison. Chu Q Jacqueline Poon. Chris Edwin Posibon. Michelle Gill Reddington. Adrian Charles Rocket. Heath Malcolm Saunders. Kira Jane Sjogren. Emily Louise Thatcher Stevens. Ming Him Tuk. Renee Helena Xenofontos. For the Bachelor of Business and the Bachelor of Arts Italian, Sarah Ann Farfalla. Adriana Sofia Lettieri. Christine Marie Strangio. Simon Weigel. For the Bachelor of Business and the Bachelor of Arts Japanese, Lara Jean Barstow. Eleanor Marion Cox. Ben Purcell Hilton. Sujin Abby Lee. Nicole Marie Suckling. For the Bachelor of Business Honours, Brent Russell Edwards. For the Graduate Certificate of Business, Human Resource Management, Daniela Sobewski. For the Graduate Diploma of Business, Human Resource Management, Peggy Sue Hailstone. Neha Haribai. Manisha Haru. Gillian Ann Norman. For the Master of Business Human Resource Management, Badel Birik Abdullah. Camille Desiree Cranenberg. Joanne Michelle Davidson. Yi Tin Feng. Mona Gaidari Dust. Karen Ann Gruber. Xie Jin. Garima Manishi. Karen Murphy. Ramnarayan Nundagopal. Divya Madhava Panikar. Sudali Pimasing. Anne Louise Reeves. Jennifer Celestine Rosario. Lisa Ann Thompson. Barbara Vanthoff. Haley Louise Warren. Jade Williams. For the Master of Business, International Business, Ching Po Chung. Daniel Wahome Gacharia. Richard Conrad Laferriere. Po Hung Lin. Fi Mai Hanpan. Zingy Poo. Denny Thomas. Parvuna Wali. For the Master of Business Marketing, Andrew William Alberts. Simon Charles Beasley. Catherine Therese Bergen. Chen Lee. Julie Ann Guest. Anne Lee Bernadette Hackenes. Clayton Ken Boogie Hawley. Vicky Calafolius. Ni Mai Yen. Georgia Marzella. Bridget Mary White. Glenn Cameron Zanoni. Councillor, that concludes the awards. Oh, yeah, which one? Oh, right, which one? This is? Okay, all right. My apologies, we missed one student. For the Bachelor of Business, Pra Hua Pan. Well done. Councillor, that concludes the awards for the Faculty of Business and Enterprise. I now call upon Mr. Denny Thomas, who graduated today with a Master of Business, International Business, to speak on behalf of the graduates.
Councillor, members of the Council, distinguished guests, fellow graduates, ladies and gentlemen. It's my honor to be speaking here today on behalf of the graduates from the Faculty of Business and Enterprise to acknowledge and thank those who have helped us to achieve what we have here today. We are grateful to the university staff for their support, guidance, and assistance they have given us throughout our time here. We were fortunate to have wonderful teachers who really impacted us in a positive way so that we all are well equipped to take the challenges offered by the real-world opportunities. We are thankful to our family and friends for their incredible support during our journey for this achievement. You have been there from the beginning, keeping us focused and constantly encouraging us to achieve our goal. We are very honored to have you here with us today when we celebrate our success. I believe we all are going to fly to new heights, and irrespective of the direction we are flying, the experience here at Swinburne will help us to explore the deeper meaning of everything that encounters us in our future endeavors. I hope our association with the university is long-lasting, and the friendships we generated here do not stop today. We are taking it back home, beyond the borders of this university and this country. We had a number of lectures where we were debating about almost everything happening around us. Today, we are a step closer to face the same real world which has many question marks in front of it. Let us be the solution to it. Let us be the ones who are trying to heal it. Let us not forget that it is our responsibility to make a sustainable tomorrow for the generations to come. We can do it. Congratulations to all graduates. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Denny. To all the Swinburne graduates here today, I know that today is the culmination of years of hard work and that during this time you've had the encouragement and help of your family and friends, so many of whom have come here today from many parts of Australia and indeed from across the world to see you graduate. On yours and the university's behalf, I wish to thank them for their support of your studies at Swinburne. I'm sure that they, like us, are very proud of all that you have achieved. Graduates, please stand. I'd like you to turn and face your family and friends and join me in a round of applause to say thank you to those who have helped you so much. Thank you. If you'd like to resume your seats. I also wish to take this opportunity to thank the teaching and administrative staff for their contribution to your education at Swinburne. Would all the staff, either behind me on the podium or in the audience, would like to stand, please? Graduates, you also please join me in a round of applause for all the staff at the university. Thank you very much. Graduates, I trust that you will consider that this is the beginning of a lifelong association with Swinburne. Education is a continuing process, and I hope that many of you will return to Swinburne to further your studies. I would also encourage you to participate in the activities of the Swinburne Alumni Association. The Alumni Association has groups in many different parts of the world. So even if you're leaving Melbourne, and that does not have to mean an end to your participation in Swinburne activities. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of all the members of Swinburne, I offer our congratulations to all those who have received an award today. This concludes the formal part of this Swinburne graduation and award conferral ceremony. Thank you very much.
On behalf of the members of Council and the university community, I invite you to join us for refreshments, which will be served in the chandelier room. If you could please now stand while the official party and academic procession graduates leave the hall.